of Honolulu is a new book that brings us a never before heard story of true life NCIS. We have NCIS star Mark Harmon and retired NCIS Special Agent Leon Carroll Jr., who's also a longtime technical advisor for the series, to tell us about the new book. Thank you so much for your time today.
Sure.
Mark, let's go ahead and start with you. Okay. NCIS did not start in the 90s or with the series. We can trace its roots back all the way to Pearl Harbor. Let's talk a little bit about the story of this book.
You know, Rudy, when I first got this job, first thing I tried to do is investigate what NCIS was. I never heard of it, and there wasn't much information you could find. Luckily, I met Leon Carroll 20 years ago. I was interested in meeting the real guys who did this job, the real people who did this job, doing what actors do, which is trying to steal things. That's what actors do. But I over 20 years, I think I just grew so much respect for the quiet job that these individuals do. Very different than the TV show. Very, very difficult job, tough job, hard job. It's what drew us toward someone like Douglas Wada with this book, him being the first, and what then became NCIS. And the right guy in the right place with a very specific job set to do the very difficult job he did. And so my involvement here is really about my respect for Leon and the relationship we had for 20 years on the show.
Leon, let's talk a little bit about researching the book, the story for the book. What fascinated you from how NCIS operated, back then, during Pearl Harbor versus modern times?
That's one of the things that really drew me to Doug Wada, because he was a counterintelligence agent, and that's what I did when I first came on with NCIS. We're all trained to be basic criminal investigators, but then we can branch out into specialties, and that's what I did. So the work that he was doing was very similar to the work that I did some 40 years later. And I think he did it well. I hope I did it well. But his story dealt with a wartime situation, and it was for real. There were no games, no spy versus spy games to speak of that didn't result in a lot of people that died. In this case, he was looking at people that may be feeding information to the Japanese Imperial military. So it was quite interesting for me to take a look at how he operated and how things really hadn't changed that much in terms of investigating or running an operation to today. When I stopped in 2003, the only thing that really had changed was the technology. There were other laws that may have kept us from doing some of the things that he did back then, but other than that, it was pretty much the same.
Mark, let's talk a little bit about working with Leon on NCIS on the TV series, your friendship, and how that ultimately led to teaming up for this book together.
Really, the thing is, like a guy like Doug Wada, nobody knew about this guy. All right, I never would have known about Leon Carroll had I not done a TV show, or the work he has done for as long as he's done it, that you don't know about either, right? And the fact that I can talk to him every day, the fact that I can ask him questions and get answers from someone like him who has the experience he does, not only as an NCIS agent, he was also a Marine. So for a character like I was supposed to play on the show, every day for me have the opportunity to take from him and to learn from him. That's really what this book is for me, is in some ways a thank you.
And a thank you too, because Leon, I was looking on your bio. You're from Chicago, is that correct?
I am, and I love being home. We did an event at the Pritzker Museum on Saturday, and it was great to see so many South Siders from Chicago, which is where I'm from, in attendance. It was just a great day.
Tell me a little bit about your motivation, living here in Chicago, growing up, and then ultimately having the career that you ended up having.
Well, in doing what I'm doing now, I'm living somebody else's dream, because never in 1,000 years would I have thought that I'd be working in the industry and sitting next to, a star like Mr. Mark Harmon here. And Chicago South Side, I remember when kids in my neighborhood never had gone downtown. And I ended up leaving and going up to North Dakota State and had a great time there, football and even being involved in ROTC and those types of things. And then moving on to the agency, which was NIS at that time, after being a Marine for 6 years, active duty Marine. And that's how I found out about NIS. In those days, we weren't running around advertising. We didn't have a TV show, and they weren't advertising publicly to get the job. And so I felt honored when this happened, this opportunity happened, by being at the right place at the right time. And I'll have to give a shout out to my wife, who actually wanted us to move from Washington State back down to Los Angeles. And that's really how the opportunity happened. Just being at the right place at the right time.
And we're so proud of you all. Everyone here in Chicago is so proud of the career that you've had and the work that you continue to do. And then final thing here on Mark, Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan posted a photo on Instagram together, and a lot of fans think there's going to be a Freaky Friday sequel. If there is one, are you in for that one?
All I can tell you is that sounds like Jamie.
Who was on our show, by the way, Rudy. She did a couple of episodes with us, and she's great. She's just a down-to-earth person, and I don't know about that show, but I'd love to see her back on NCIS at some point.
Yeah, she's wonderful, and I'm so happy for all of her success and the recent Oscar that she ended up getting. Thank you both so much for your time today. Ghosts of Honolulu now in stores. Mark, Leon, thank you so much.
Thanks, Rudy. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.